I guess I'm doing introductions, so I'm correct. Patty, okay, and Emily, okay. So Emily, you're a staff, okay? Okay, great. Gotcha. Add some your dimensions. You're a Look how old I am, though. All right, great. So, Simeon? Okay. So I'll introduce you. I'm going to introduce yourself. Well, introduce yourself. Simeon. I'll introduce you in the last I can hold you, it's okay. Thanks, nice to meet you. Someone's supposed to be someone like for more than 5 couple days.
Okay,
Okay. Great, thank you.
Okay, let's watch out for that. Your email finally.
I have to go in for fellow officers.
They don't let you do any comments. It's just kind of a straight, like, 1 through 4. So I was like,
I thought that was you.
little What's the day? I can't help but think of this. We need to start with people based on what we're about to take part. Is that groundbreaking and things like that? Well, what I want to do is we have a without hitting it. Like that.
Good afternoon, everybody. Oh my gosh, I forgot to ask someone to do the flag salute and four-way test. We'll get to that in a minute. But welcome to, thank you. Welcome to Norman Rotary. Today is March 12th, and we're really glad that you're here. We're going to take a moment of silence to reflect or pray.
join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please join me in the four-way text of the things we think, say, or do. First, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Okay, thank you. We have a lot of guests today. And so we're going to start with our District Governor, Michael Ridgway, who's joining us today and has a couple of announcements to make.
Good afternoon. Hello. I really just have a couple of comments. The first one is that it's always a pleasure to visit Norman Rotary. You guys are a lot of fun, and you do a lot of good in our community, particularly with kids. And I appreciate that personally, and I think that it makes all Rotarians shine when we're able to associate ourselves with a club like yours. The other thing I want to talk about is the district conference, which is the weekend of April 10th to the 12th. It's going to be a great event. That happens to also be the weekend of Second Friday Art Walk that Friday, and the medieval fair that weekend. There will be time during the district conference for you to do both of those things. The main conference business stuff will primarily be Saturday morning into early afternoon. The foundation dinner will be Saturday evening. You can go to the district website, rotary5770.com, and sign up to attend all of the events that we're going to have. The last thing that I want to mention is that for the district conference, I'm looking for a couple of people who like to sing. Look at the hands shoot up. And I really would like somebody who knows how to play guitar and could play a song that I'll talk to you about as soon as you come see me after the meeting. So, thank you very much. Thanks, Lou.
Thank you, Michael. Okay, we have other guests with us today. Jill Hazeldine is here, former club member, if you didn't know. We're glad to see you back. I understand she's here for the special guest we have today to speak to us. So, okay, we have a guest. Rob Andrew has a guest.
Yeah, it's my pleasure to introduce Jim Collard. He's going to be a guest speaker next month on April 9th. His background is in economics. He's a former chief of police of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation, and they're kind of their chief economic officer, and he built a foreign trade zone for them called Iron Horse Industrial Park. And he's going to tell us all about that in about a month, but today he's my guest, so please welcome Jim Collard.
Here with me. I've got Miss Janet. He's an attorney with Payne and Janet. State planning, anything that could accidentally happen. Things we want to be ready for. Well,
Well, we're glad you're here. And we also have Michael Carroll. Do you want to stand up? He's with Able, and he's just popping in today to say hi and check us out. So be sure you talk with him before you leave today. Thanks for being here, Michael. We have students of the month. Mr. Heaton is going to introduce them.
Okay, we have two students in the month today. We have from Dimensions, we have Addison Simeon. Said it right? Okay, Addison, welcome to the club. Congratulations on being the student of the month. We want to just ask you kind of maybe what your future plans are.
hi everyone. My name is Addison. For the future, I really want to help people
really something to be happy about, and I'm just thankful I'm here again. Thank you, guys.
Okay, and then our second student of the month is, oh, okay, thank you, is Aiden O'Hara, and he's from Norman High. So Aiden, the same question to you, kind of what you introduce yourself and kind of what you want to do.
Yes, sir. It's good to see you all again. Thank you all for having us. Sorry that Crystal cannot make it. Hi, Miss Kat. My future plans are kind of undecided right now, but I do know that I want to study business in college, and I want to take that to go to law school at an institution. But regardless, I just want to be able to meet people, bring people together and foster unity at wherever I go. Just that way, the institution that's pouring into me so much can get poured back into, and hopefully, it becomes a better place because that's my goal.
Thank you to all of our guests for being here today. We have a couple of announcements, but I'm going to let Carla Atkinson lead us off with that. Yeah, this is a big one.
All right. Dr. Nick can't be with us today, but he wanted me to share with you guys that this year we are we always have our celebration of excellence in Norman Public Schools in April to recognize our Teacher of the Year and other, other educators. This year we are having a Public Education Ambassador Award, and I'm proud to announce that that award will go to Norman Rotary this year for all of the wonderful work that you guys do for our students with all the literacy initiatives, the books, the nooks, the bikes, the vending machines, and of course, our favorite, Storypalooza. So I'm really excited and honored to be part of this group as well. So we will be celebrating you on April 10th.
Thank you so much. Way to go, team. That's an amazing honor for us as a club, and I'm really grateful for our involvement with Norman Public Schools. And again, Storypalooza is probably going to roll up there in just a second. We do have our digital billboards up, so if you are in and around Norman, traveling at I-35, going south on Blood, and a couple of other locations, keep your eyes peeled, because, well, in just a minute, some banner is going to roll up there, and you're going to see what the digital billboard looks like. So Norman Public Schools has been instrumental in making our graphics, our promotional things. There we go, right there. So very exciting. Speaking of that, we have some banners that need to go at intersections. Liz Barfield is going to be coordinating that, and well, you can kind of see what it looks like. So she's going to be coordinating that, and if anybody's around next week, the sooner we can get this up, the better. So Liz will be, if you can help drive key posts into the ground and hang banners, please get with Liz, because she's going to need help. Yes. Okay, we also, I think in the weekly email that you get, we were talking about having tomorrow as a stamp and stuff day for our books. I have a family emergency, and we'll be exiting out of here as soon as I induct my friends. So tomorrow is canceled. We will be having a marathon session on March 20th from 1 to 5 at our Carrington Clubhouse. That address is in your email, but we'll remind you again next week. So, Storypalooza Committee will have their scheduled meeting tomorrow as planned. So, a couple of other things. I'm sorry? Oh yeah, Saturday. Sorry about that, y'all. I'm a little distracted today, I apologize. So, I do have a sad announcement to make. Alice is with us today, but her husband passed away last week. The funeral is Monday, the 16th at 2 p.m. in McFarland. If you would like to attend, we are sending flowers on Rotary's behalf. So I'm so sorry, Alice, for your loss. Okay, am I missing any other announcements? Okay, on Judy. Oh. Look at all that. Amazing. All right, thank you. We do have 2 new members to induct today. Okay, can somebody on the Storypalooza committee be responsible for transporting those costumes somewhere? Thank you. Okay, and so Millie, Julia, you want to come up here? You do. You can be official here in just a second. Okay. Well, there should be 2 of those. I don't know when you. There we go. Okay. I've known Millie, I don't even know how long. So it is my great honor to induct you into Norman Rotary. So, okay, on behalf of the members of Norman Rotary, I'm delighted to extend a warm welcome to our newest members, Millie Eubanks and Julia Brown. Joining Rotary is not just about becoming a member of a club, it's about becoming part of a global community dedicated to making a positive difference in the world. As Rotarians, we uphold the values of service, integrity, diversity, and leadership. We are united in our commitment to improving lives locally and globally through our various service projects and initiatives. Millie and Julia, we are excited to have you join us on this journey of service and fellowship. Your unique skills, experiences, and perspectives will enrich Norman Rotary and contribute to our collective efforts to create lasting change. As you embark on your Rotary journey, you will have the opportunity to connect with your fellow members, participate in meaningful projects, and engage in activities that align with your passions and interests. We encourage you to take full advantage of all that Rotary has to offer and to share your ideas and aspirations with us. Once again, Millie and Julia, welcome to Norman Rotary. We are thrilled to have you as part of our Rotary family. We look forward to working together to make a positive impact in our community and beyond. Everybody, please welcome our newest members. To Lynn and Judy, who looks amazing in her Girl Scout sash. So come and introduce our distinguished speakers for the day. Oh, by the way, there are yard signs. I did forget that, even though it's right here. There are yard signs for Storypalooza. If you live in a neighborhood with lots of kids and want to promote this, please go put this sign in your yard. Bring it back either the Thursday before Storypalooza or the day of Storypalooza, because everybody's going to be volunteering, right? And we're going to line to come to road with these for a little bit of additional promo. So over there, take one if you'd like.
Thank you, Liz. So once again, it is my pleasure that we have speakers today that are members of our Rotary, Norman Rotary. And so Judy and I are going to have a quiz for you all. See if you can figure out who this is. Dean Emeritus of the Gaylord College of Journalism and Mass Communications at the University of Oklahoma. Before serving as Gaylord Dean, he was director of the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communications at Arizona State University and was founding dean of the College of Mass Communications and Media Arts at Southern Illinois University. He also taught at Cornell University before entering university teaching, was press secretary to Speaker of the House Carl Albert and chief of staff to Congressman Dave McCurdy. He was a journalist at the Voice of America, KTOK, KSEO, the Oklahoma News Network, and the Indian Nations News Network. Who is this? Joe Foote. Thank you very much for your good guessing. And our colleague and friend Joe Foote will be speaking today, along with, who is this?
Because we have two speakers, we have two introducers. The only thing. He's a fourth-generation resident of Cleveland County and a longtime Oklahoma journalist and educator. He holds a bachelor's and master's degrees from the University of Oklahoma, where he has taught senior reporting and journalism history courses and advised the student newspaper. He has worked for newspapers in Norman, Noble, and Oklahoma City. He retired in 2015 after a 20-year stint as editor of the Norman Transcript. Besides 45 years of newspaper publications, he has 2 published books and articles published in the Journal of National Endowment for the Arts and Oklahoma Humanities magazines. In addition to teaching, he works part-time as a realtor and continues to write a weekly column for the Transcript. Who is it?
Andy Rieger.
Come on up, Joe.
It's really troubling getting me a mic for all this time, too. Thank you very much. While I wait for the dean to come up, that picture that was of me, that really life-size picture, one of my kids said, "Dad, when they were giving out chins, did you think they said gin?" And I said, "Give me a double." To see it that big, that worries me. So anyway, we're happy to be here today to talk about journalism, what's happened in the industry, trust, some other things. So you probably don't recognize him here, but you probably recognize the tie. Joe hasn't changed a bit since high school. So this was him at a, So this was Joe at his Durant radio station where he worked in high school and got his interest before he came to the University of Oklahoma. And this is a young me when I had pretty much brown hair and covering the, I think that's the 1980 Republican National Convention in Detroit when I was reporter for the Daily Oklahoma and Oklahoma City Times back then. So we did have different lives before we were teaching or worked with the Transcript. So I thought I'd start out talking a little bit about the change in technology in the industry. Anybody recognize that machine on the right? What is that, Jim Dembowski?
Linotype.
That's a linotype machine, started by publishers to save money where they didn't have to have handset type. So that machine right there sits about 2 blocks from here in the Hooper printing office. It's not still in use, thankfully, but Randy still has that, and he'll give that to anybody who will come and get it. So. This was the technology. Newspapers, printing presses were very expensive and only available to those who could afford to do it. Newspapers to produce and distribute were cheap. They were a mass medium. Radio, you had to have a federal license, relatively inexpensive to get, and free to anyone with a radio. Television, we moved into television in the 30s and 40s and 50s. It became more expensive, required a federal license like radio, but anyone who had a television set could receive signals from the TV. The internet, cheap to anyone with a phone or a computer or wireless access. So the delivery platforms for news have changed significantly just in our lifetime. So what is a journalist anyway? It takes training, education, and practice. We're taught to look at all sides of an issue, be fair in what we report, be neutral, never an advocate for a cause or an issue, never make assumptions. Today, anyone with a computer and a wireless connection can hold themselves out as a citizen journalist. Often that's anonymous with little recourse for someone who's wronged. I like to tell the story here that when I was a young police reporter on the Oklahoman Times, 2 things. Well, I'd just gotten married, and Karen was in school, in law school, and so I would call her during the day to talk because we barely had time to talk. So remember, I was a police reporter at an afternoon newspaper that you would go to the scene, and we had like 5 editions a day, and you would call in your story as fast as you could dictate it to them. So when I called her on the phone one day, she stopped me and said, you're doing something that's driving me up the wall. If you don't stop, we're not going to be married much more. So I said, what? She said, when you call me, you say, period, new paragraph. So that stopped right after that. So my job every morning was to go to the Oklahoma City jail and see who'd been arrested overnight. You think it smells bad in other places, but you go to the drunk tank every morning for about a year, you get used to the putrid smells. So I only had 3 suits. And so it was sort of a sociology experiment. When I wore my brown suit, what do you think the prisoners called out to me? Michael, what would they say? Hey, lawyer man. When I wore my green plaid suit, what'd they call? Hey, bondsman. That's right, exactly. Hey, bondsman, get me out of here. But when I wore my blue blazer and khakis, they would yell, hey, reporter man, can you put my name in the paper? All this to say is that it used to be a lot easier to tell who the journalists were. You wore a hat, you had a little press card, everybody knew who you were. It's a lot different today, very much so. So, journalists are not always popular. Sometimes you have to be the skunk at the party and the one who says, hey, Emperor, you're not wearing any clothes.
That was the light end of the presentation. I have the sad story to tell you about journalism. 2,500 newspapers have gone out of business in the last 20 years. There are hundreds of news deserts, communities like ours, without a newspaper, and growing every day. To us, this is a crisis, and we're going to talk about that, what impact that might have on us. And so the question arises, well, how did this happen? If you're as old as I am, which not many are that age, but there were family newspapers everywhere. They were part of your community. Everybody read them. No shortage. It was a thriving news industry. And the change in the inheritance laws in the 70s caused a lot of newspapers to sell to chains. And the Norman Transcript was among them. A lot of family newspapers changed ownership at that time. And then the big change came when the hedge funds got involved, and they took over a lot of newspapers. And what was their MO? Was it primarily to serve the community, or was it to extract wealth from the community to serve the investors and the hedge fund? So that was a big blow to newspapers. But more than that, and Andy will tell you about it too, the entire basis for survival of newspapers was yanked out from under it. Newspapers used to have 30% of their revenue with classified ads. There were pages and pages of people wanting to sell something, advertising for jobs. Craigslist came along, and instantly there were no more classified ads, a third of the revenue. Google and Facebook dealt the final blows, taking more than 60% of the advertising in this nation, including those that were in newspapers and to a certain extent in television. So what do these publications do? They can't make money from advertising. That's been taken away. so they have to rely on subscriptions. And if you're old enough, you remember newspapers used to be practically free. The subscription price was a token. That's why everyone subscribed to them. But with no advertising, that subsidy was gone. So you had to pay the price. Now, if you take the Oklahoman, is it $500-something a year? I was amazed when I renewed last October. And the transcripts, $200 or $300 a year. This is real money. So it's understandable why people have turned away from that. But all of this has hit in a short time, at the end of the 20th century, the beginning of the 21st. And you can see from this slide, just about every newspaper in America is owned by a big organization. Some good, some bad, all interested in making a profit. And their MO is to come in, cut staff as much as possible, put the product out with the least amount of money, and in some cases extract money from the community. And of course, Andy, being the longtime editor of the Norman Transcript, knows chapter and verse how that's turned out right here in our community.
Thanks, Joe. You know, the Transcript was founded in 1889, July of 1889, and we used to get little tours of the paper. And I heard this Cub Scout one day asked me if I was an editor then in 1889. I said, no, I was a carrier then. I worked in the mailroom. So. But, you know, just to show my age too, I actually have known the majority of every publisher except Ed Ingalls. So I knew Fred Tarman, I knew Harold Belknap, Don Franzley's. So the families, as Joe said, sold the paper to Don Red Media in 1985. I came to work there in 1995, and it was sold a couple years ago to CNHI. So what Joe talked about, the loss of advertising going to the internet, you think about it, newspapers historically are tied to geography. You could only deliver a paper about as far as you could take it, you know. You know, the Oklahoma used to have, they delivered to every county in the state. They don't do that anymore. Transcript really would just go to Cleveland and McLean County. There is no geography on the internet. It's very different. So the other thing, that the shift in this too, is that newspapers traditionally are tied to retail advertising. Your furniture stores, your clothing stores, your grocery stores. Those have also gone national and regional. You know, even your funeral homes are national and regional. So you don't have as many local owners to call on for that geographically based advertising. So less revenue to the newspaper means fewer reporters hired to produce local news, fewer editors to read the copy, fewer copy editors, fewer photographers, sports writers. In 1995, when I came there were 22 people on my news, sports, and photo staff. I don't think there's 6 full-time people there today. So that shows a tremendous shift. I mean, I had to find places in the production area to put people. They don't have that problem today. As Joe said, there's fewer paid subscribers. When I was growing up here in Norman, we subscribed to 3 newspapers in our house. We took the Transcript, we took the Daily Oklahoman, and we took a paper called the Christian Science Monitor. Anybody remember that? My mother, there were 6 kids, and my mother made us an initial that we read it every day. So that kind of helped me become interested in news, I think. So, you know, I still subscribe to newspapers today. I would get 2 or 3 of them, mostly electronically. My 3 children, none of them subscribe to a newspaper. They're still interested in news, but the idea of having an appointment to have something delivered on a piece of dead wood is just amazing. You know, that would be very foreign to them to get a subscription and get a newspaper. And part of that is that we've trained an entire generation that news is free. I remember I got a call at the paper one day, right when we were starting to load news to the web. And this person, I could tell that they were downtown because I could hear the train whistle blowing in the background. And he said, "Hey, you haven't loaded your content to the web yet." I said, "We haven't even started the press. I mean, what do you want me to give you this for free before you're doing that?" And he said, "You can't charge for news. News is free." So I thought about that, and I probably shouldn't have said this, but I said, "You know what? Friday is payday here, and I want you to come and tell all the reporters, the photographers, the pressmen, that they're not getting paid because news is free." News is not free. It's very expensive to produce local content. So as more and more of a paper's content is aggregated into online posts on TV and radio, people don't feel the need to pay to subscribe. And so fewer subscribers, as Joe said, means higher costs. It's kind of the greeting card industry example. How many of you all still buy birthday cards? What's the price of those gone to? You know, the ones that are left that are buying them, you can't go get a $2 card for your mother. You gotta pay $6, and you know, she's worth it, but there was a time when we didn't have to do that. So the reality, furloughs, staff cuts, reporters today are often the one person band. They write the story, take the picture, record the video, and manage the social media. Fewer jobs, and the ones that remain, those people are shoveling as fast as they can, leaves more room for error and more issues uncovered. Reduced publications, transcript eliminated Monday and Tuesday edition, they went to 5-day a week. Now they've restarted Tuesday editions, have a combined Saturday, Sunday, and a weekend. As Joe said, since 2005, more than 3,500 newspapers, an average of 2 newspapers a week go out of business.
So there is a bit of good news as an interlude. The bad news is real. As Andy said, newspapers are sick and getting sicker by the day. We'll talk in a second about how that affects you. But the good news is several charities, foundations, and wealthy individuals have now started their own news organizations to try to make up the deficit that occurred when all these people lost their jobs in newspapers and so much news wasn't covered. The first, and I think the best of these, is Oklahoma Watch. How many familiar with Oklahoma Watch? Good, I would expect Rotarians to be. And they have a free newsletter that goes out every day that will keep you up to date on what's happening at the state capitol and generally around the state. So when we ask the question, well, what does it matter if you don't have some of these things available? Well, you look here at this slide, the Epic Charter School case, which was a mammoth defrauding of the state coffers, may never have been known if Oklahoma Watch had not been on top of this. The vast Chinese criminal network in the marijuana industry in Oklahoma, would that have come to light had the Frontier not had reporters going after that story? Likewise, the debacle of those restaurants at the state lodges and the millions of your tax dollars that were wasted in that project. Would we have known a thing about it had the Frontier been, if there hadn't been journalists looking at that? with a lot of the landlord-tenant issues in Oklahoma that Oklahoma Watch has been doing, university transparency that NONDOC and Trey Savage has been working on. There are just a lot of issues. This is the good news, but it's only coming about because of the generosity of some wealthy people and foundations who are trying to keep journalism alive. So I hope you will tune into those. So we talked about bad news, that's good news. Now a question you're probably all interested in is the trust issue. I mean, journalism has been hit from all sides. We've talked about the economic impact, and then on top of all of that, Americans don't believe in journalism. There's a huge trust issue. Many people in this room will say that news is biased. It can't be trusted. And Andy and I, of course, do not believe that at all. And we'll fight to our death on that issue. But the truth is, the majority of people definitely think there's something wrong with the credibility of journalism. And we live in a very partisan age. We live in a very red state. If you look at this slide, that the majority of Republicans especially do not trust national news, and in some ways don't trust even local news, and that's an issue. We used to have a rule, that obscure rule called the fairness doctrine that the FCC had, that said you have to give both sides of an issue. You can't just have a purely partisan television channel. In the Reagan administration, the fairness doctrine went away, which led the way for partisan cable news networks. And in my view, that's what lit the fuse of lack of trust in American journalism. There's a difference between reporters going out and gathering news with the nonprofits I talked about, or with the transcript or the Oklahoma, and opinion that costs very little and is not necessarily based on fact. That each of us can sit in our cocoons and have 24 hours of nonstop information that tailored for us, that fits our political persuasions perfectly. We can bathe ourselves in that every single day, and then call out anything we don't believe in as biased, as fake news. Well, of course, that's wrong, because in my cocoon, this is not the news I'm getting at all. So, it's a real issue, the whole trust thing, and what can we do about it? Well, I'm not going to deal with national, and I'll ask Andy to come up here for this too. But on a local level, we're going to have to figure out some kind of method we can agree on a set of facts, so that when we look at our community, when we look at what the news is, can we agree that we at least share those facts? And we've got a lot of issues in this community right now. We're going to be voting on a homeless shelter pretty soon. The TIF for the arena is still a hot issue. The remnants of the turnpike fight. the fight for affordable housing in this community, what's going to happen with the library. I could go on and on. The issues that really mean something to us. Where do we get that shared reality? And how can we come together as far as what we're doing with those facts? I think a paper like the Norman Transcript is one way that we do that. There's been a lot of research that shows when your local newspaper goes away, the lack of trust only increases. The division in the community increases. It's when you have a shared reality that people are more likely to be in a position to do something positive and have some esprit de corps. And of course, those journalists sitting in the city council meetings, in the school board meetings, in the planning committee meetings, are a hedge against corruption and bad things happening that none of us really want.
And Jeff's point about having a shared reality in your community, anymore, people tune out the news. They don't want to hear it, and so they're misinformed. And so someone said, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear any news. I'm going to go home and watch the Goober channel or whatever it is you watch. Like when I'm on my treadmill, I watch Andy Griffith, so I don't have anything to worry about. So everything's good in Mayberry. But when people no longer trust the information in the community, not only are they not engaged, but they don't feel very good about their community. They don't think much of it. Years ago, I started a newspaper in Noble where they didn't have a newspaper. And we started a little weekly paper down there. And we got a note with somebody's subscription one time that I kept. And it says, "Thanks for giving us a newspaper again. I feel like we're a real town." So, I also got a brick by the front door too, so I kept one of those notes. So, I think we're running out of time.
But there's real, we've all got skin in the game to keep local news alive in this community. It would be a tragedy if Norman, Oklahoma became a news desert and there wasn't any of this activity. So.
Can we take one question?
This group doesn't have questions.
I don't really know. When I was there, we were printing about 20,000 papers. I can't tell you today because a lot of them are electronic. Like my subscription's electronic. Carriers are hard to come by, so the fewer carriers there are out there. My carrier used to put my printed newspaper inside my front door every day. And several years after I was retired as editor, Karen said, we ought to tell them that you're not the editor anymore. Judy?
The magazines, we get 4 or 5 magazines now. They're ads.
You're talking about local magazines?
Why are they going there instead of
It's probably because it's easier to sell ads in those than it is a daily newspaper product. I think they have more shelf life. People are more receptive to doing that. You put them around offices, put them around your home, coffee tables. Yes. You say your paper. I haven't been there in 10 years. And quit calling me at home when you miss your paper. I don't deliver it anymore.
It's always great to hear from our own members, and that was definitely a very interesting topic today. I'd like to say thank you for District Governor Michael Ridgway for being here, Mitch, James, Michael. Thank you all for visiting. We hope you come back. back and see us again. Students of the month, Aiden and Addison, thank y'all for being here again today. It was great to see y'all. Welcome our new members. If you have time on your way out, make sure you say hello to Millie and Julia. And with that, we are adjourned.
All right, y'all have a great day. Spring break, start tomorrow.
We're all ready for it. Even the teachers.
Don't forget to take yard signs. Take your yard signs.
Insurance that we bought, freedom insurance.
Bill, I gotta have my granddaughter watch this since they mentioned the publication she works for. She works for that Frontier